Welcome to Thinking is Contagious. Listen to this.
How old is the president?
Kamala Harris was born 56 years ago on Tuesday, October 20th, 1964.
Pretty interesting, huh? How old is the president? Kamala Harris. Then they say that there is nothing to what any of Trump's claims. Remember when Trump said that his campaign had been spied upon and that certain members of his campaign and subsequent certain members will go on to be cabinet members have been spied upon and had been set up and had false evidence brought against them. And what did the media say? That it was all lies, Trump lies. Very interesting, huh? Now we're going to slough it off as coincidence or, there's nothing to it. You think so? You think so? I'm glad you think so. Let me ask you another question. Remember when Trump was claiming the week before the elections that there would be a vaccine, and all the reporters fought him? Oh no, your experts contradict you. You're contradicting your experts. There's not going to be a vaccine till 2022 or the end of 2021 or the middle of 2020. And they kept going after him and going after him and going after him. Well, guess what? Today's Monday, the 9th of October, and the stock market's up 1,200 points because a vaccine maker says that they have a vaccine that's 90% effective and will be out by the end of the month. Nothing there either, right? Trump lies. Trump makes up things. His experts, he goes against his experts. People, there may or may not be anything going on with the election results. Like I've said for over a week now, I have to see more. I have to see more information. I have to see proof. A big point is a lot of the proof is held by those who are trying to keep it from us, which is the election committees and in each state, the election boards. So they definitely don't want to get caught with their hands in the cookie jar. So, of course, there's not enough evidence yet. We haven't been able to get to enough. Trump's people have not been able to get to enough of the evidence. But again, I'm gonna hold off and say I trust that this is the United States of America. This is not a banana republic. So I hope that I'm right in my instinct and that it's no shenanigans are going on, but no one's proven to me that there's not either. And everything that Trump gets lambasted about, pretty much of it, he's right on. He's right on the money with. The very fact that the refusal to report on the Biden email laptop issue, the refusal to at least report on it, whether it was real or not. Like I said, if always, I don't know if it's real, but if it is or isn't, the fact that you ignore it, that is damning. The fact that this election fraud that he's claiming, that Trump is claiming, the fact that it's scuffed off and there's no outcry for an investigation from the media, that is troubling. That is troubling. I think that today, what occurred with this announcement for the vaccine, I think it's got to open your eyes. Think back about how hard Trump was taken to task about him contradicting his experts when he said there would be a vaccine in November. He was ridiculed. He was lambasted. He was told, you're going against your experts, the experts. You have to listen to science. You have to listen to science. Well, guess what? You have to listen to Trump. So What occurred today with the vaccine makes me think that there is more to this story than what we are being told. Selective reporting has never been a bigger threat to this country than what it is today. And the agenda is clear. It's get Trump out. Period. Don't look the other way. Don't think that there's no significance in the fact that Wall Street was touching this morning at 30,000 Dow. Don't think that there's no coincidence when they believe that Biden has won the election. Wall Street celebrating, Wall Street happy, because what this means is business as usual. Because the corrupt swamp creatures, the corrupt swamp dwellers are back in power. There can be no mistake about the message we're being sent. And if you are naive enough to believe that there is no message being sent, like I said, the Dow is pushing 30,000 in a matter of a week. They're celebrating that one of their creatures is back in control. They're celebrating that they can do whatever they want to do once again. And the very fact that you have rhinos, Republicans in name only, coming out and saying that Trump needs to back off his position indicates to you who the swamp dwellers are from the Republican side. And it's very evident. The Romneys, the Rubios of this world. It's very evident who they are. People, I'm sorry, Trump has proven to be right more often than he's proven to be wrong. His claims, which are labeled outlandish by the media, look back on them for the last 4 years. He's pretty much been right. The FBI lied. They falsified evidence. They falsified FISA warrants. They made up reports. They knew that the Steele dossier was a lie, and they still based an entire impeachment on it. It's so obvious to me that politicians, both sides, are rejoicing that the one person that can disrupt the apple cart and speak up for the American people is gone. And you know who I blame for a lot for this? The millennials, the Generation Z guys, people who believe in, they've been indoctrinated. And you know what? I take it back. I'm not going to blame them. They've been indoctrinated. They know no better. They go out and they repeat the narrative. He's a racist. He's a misogynist. He's a xenophobe. There's no proof of this. There is no proof of this. Joe Biden has called African Americans and minorities super predators. Joe Biden has said that segregation was good for black people because it embraced their blackness and their uniqueness. Joe Biden has given a eulogy for Strom Thurmond. Joe Biden has been involved in so many racial themed, let's call them miscues. Remember he said you couldn't go to a 7-Eleven or a Dunkin' Donuts if you didn't have an Indian accent. Barack Obama, we finally have articulate, good-looking, clean African American. He's a storybook. Joe Biden, who has praised segregationists. Joe Biden, who has supported the 1994. He was one of the co-authors of the 94 crime bill that increased the incarceration of minorities in this country geometrically from where it was. There are so many racist statements that are attributable to Joe Biden that he has said. If you don't vote for me, you ain't black. Remember that was Charlemagne the God? I've got on my programs, there's a back and forth of comments, and I put a list of quite a few of the comments that Biden has made or the actions that Biden has undertaken. Take a look at them and see who you could make a case of racism against. But neither here nor there. We're at a point right now where we have an election, we have a result. It has not been qualified as accurate by the boards, by the state boards. There are still the Trump legal challenges. But in summation, how I felt before this morning about Trump's claims, I'm a little more leaning towards believing Trump at this point, that there is something there, because this vaccine thing is huge. And if you fail to overlook the vaccine issue, how he was ridiculed for saying that there would be a vaccine ready in November, and how he was ridiculed by saying that he had the military ready to expedite the delivery of the vaccine. How he was ridiculed for that, and said that he was fighting science and fighting his experts. And for this to have occurred today, this announcement, I'm sorry, but Trump is far more transparent and truthful than anyone else in politics at this point. And it's hard for me to say that Donald Trump is truthful, because I know that he is not the most truthful person in the world. But when compared to our politicians, this man is absolutely a saint when it comes to honesty. People, the popular vote, if it's accurate, you made a huge mistake. And we can only pray to God that the Senate remains in Republican control. And 2 years from now, when we have more elections, midterms, the shift to the Republicans is stronger. We're able to gain control, gain more seats in both chambers, and negate the Kamela Harris presidency. Okay, I've said my piece, and I will tell you, like I said, I'm going to close on it. I hope that I'm wrong and that this was a rigged election. I hope this was a rigged election. It's going to cost the United States a lot of credibility. But to allow Kamala Harris to be the president of this country and the left to come in and implement their socialist agenda will be far more costly than a little egg on our face in front of the world. Let's move forward. Let's hope that the court challenges come up with evidence, and let's hope that we can overturn the fiasco that's been caused in large part by the ignorance that's been placed in the minds of those in our society that have been indoctrinated by the lies of the left. And that's what this boils down to. Purchased votes, bought votes with the promises of free education, free medicine, free everything. And you have these kids out there who their whole lives, all they've heard is the narrative of how great taking care of everyone is and getting things for free is, and not understanding that anything of value requires somebody to pay for it. And that's who's overturned this election, is that ignorance. I'm not saying anyone is stupid or dumb. They are ignorant. For the large part, the millennials and the Generation Zs, these young people, they are ignorant. Ignorant of this, what made this country great, ignorant of the history of this country, ignorant of the achievements of this country, ignorant of the accomplishments of this country, and ignorant as to what the outcome is of following a socialist, communist mindset. It doesn't work, people. And you'll soon realize it. Today, you feel safeguarded because you don't break that threshold of having to pay. You receive. The day that you get into the threshold of having to pay and not receive, subsidize, you're going to start analyzing, who am I subsidizing and why am I subsidizing them? And let me tell you, it's shameful that a family, people who work hard to give their family luxuries and creature comforts and bust their butts and sacrifice in order to do that, are penalized to subsidize those who choose not to. And I'm sorry, I've heard a lot of people say, "Oh, only you're trying to say that only that there's a bunch of lazy people that don't want to work." No, I'm not saying that. I'm saying there's a bunch of people that have been brainwashed to think that they're entitled, because they're Americans, that they're entitled to something. You're not entitled to anything. All men are created equal, born equal. What happens from that moment on is very much, quite a bit of it is up to you. And as soon as accountability put into this equation, things change. Okay, said my piece for today. Have a good day.